And speaking of the US presidential election, well, Kamala Harris faced a grilling on Fox News with host Brett Baier pressing the vice president on immigration, the economy, and the Biden administration in a 30-minute interview. The Democratic candidate's first appearance on the conservative network formed part of a direct appeal to right-leaning voters after she was joined by more than 100 Republicans at a campaign event in Pennsylvania earlier in the day. The interview was combative, as many point out, with Kamala Harris towards the end speaking over the host as she asked him to interview her grounded in full assessment of the facts, while calling him out for playing clips that she said were not relevant to what they were discussing. And for a quick comment on this intense 30-minute interview, we have with us Professor of Public Policy from Rochester Institute of Tech, Mr. David Cay Johnston. Thank you so much, sir, for making time for us on NDTV. Now, about halfway through this intense interview, the host actually asked Kamala Harris a question. Many say that she hasn't been able to answer very well in more friendly interviews last week on what she would do differently from Joe Biden. She has now clearly said that her presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. With this appearance on Fox, though, sir, do you think her mission to reach moderate Republicans has been accomplished?
Well, she had more than 100 elected or formerly elected Republicans appear with her today to support her. She's got 40 of the 44 Republicans who were in Donald Trump's cabinet supporting her. So, I mean, she's done very well with at least getting leaders in the Republican Party to support her. Right. And most importantly, those leaders who know Donald Trump best, who've worked alongside him. And, you know, I've covered him for 36 years.
Also, many say that Harris's recent media appearances, Kamala Harris is reportedly also in negotiations to appear on Joe Rogan's podcast, which for our viewers here is the most popular podcast in the US and has a large following among young men. So what do you have to say about Kamala Harris's strategy, her campaign team's strategy that they've employed in terms of her recent interviews?
Well, both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have been going on unusual sites. Instead of sitting down with the New York Times and the Washington Post, they've been going on these various podcasts that are aimed at various different audiences. And I think they're following the same strategy, that there is a new media market out there, especially for people under the age of 30.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for joining us with those quick comments. We will, of course, revert to you for regular updates in the run-up to November's showdown.